Desmond Doss, the real story. Today we will be looking at the story of Desmond Doss, a Christian army medic who refused to fire a gun. On April 1, 1942, Desmond Doss joined the United States Army. 3.5 years later, he would be standing on the White House lawn receiving an award for his bravery and courage under fire. Desmond, during combat, had not killed a single enemy soldier. In fact, he refused to carry a gun. His only weapons were his Bible and his faith in God. President Harry S. Truman said to Desmond, "I'm really proud of you. You really deserve this. I consider this a greater honor than being president." The journey that had brought young Desmond to this day had been a challenging one. At the beginning of World War II, he was working at a shipyard, but he wanted to do more for his country and was willing to risk his life on the front lines. When he joined the army, Desmond wanted to be an army combat medic. As luck would have it, he was assigned to a infantry rifle company. His refusal to carry a gun caused a lot of trouble among his fellow soldiers. They viewed him with disdain and called him a misfit. One man in the barracks warned him, "Doss, as soon as we get into combat, I'll make sure you won't come back alive." His commanding officers also wanted to get rid of him because they thought he was a liability. Nobody believed a soldier without a weapon was worthwhile. They tried to intimidate him, scold him, assigned him extra tough duties, and declared him mentally unfit for the army. Then they attempted to court-martial him for refusing a direct order to carry a gun, but they failed to find a way to kick him out, and he also refused to leave. He believed his duty was to obey God and serve his country, but it had to be in that order. His unwavering convictions were most important. Desmond had been raised with a fervent belief in the Bible. When it came to the 10 Commandments, he applied them personally. During childhood, his father had purchased a large framed picture at an auction. It portrayed the 10 Commandments with colorful illustrations. Next to the words, "Thou shalt not kill," was a drawing of Cain holding a club and standing over the body of his dead brother Abel. Little Desmond would look at that picture and ask, why did Cain kill Abel? How in the world could a brother do such a thing? In Desmond's mind, God said, "If you love me, you won't kill." With that picture firmly embedded in his mind, he determined that he would never take life. However, there was another commandment that Desmond took just as seriously as the 6th commandment. It was the 4th commandment. His religious upbringing included weekly church attendance. He asked for a weekly pass so he could attend church, which his friends did not like. They bullied him, called him awful names, and cursed at him. His commanding officers also made his life difficult. Things began turning around when the man discovered that this Desmond had a way to heal the blisters on their feet. If someone fainted from heat stroke, Desmond would offer his own water canteen. Desmond never held a grudge. With kindness and gentle courtesy, he treated those who had mistreated him. He lived the golden rule according to Matthew chapter 7 verse 12. Do unto others what you would want them to do to you. Desmond served in combat on the islands of Guam, Leyte, and Okinawa. In each military operation, He exhibited extraordinary dedication to his fellow men. While others were taking lives, he was busy saving lives. When the cry, "Medic!" rang out on the battlefield, he never considered his own safety and repeatedly ran into the heat of battle to treat a fallen comrade and carry him back to safety. Several times while treating a wounded soldier, Desmond was so close to enemy lines he could hear the whispering of Japanese voices. In May 1945, Japanese troops were fiercely defending to their last man the only remaining barrier to the Allied invasion of Japan. The men in Desmond's division secured the top of the cliff, but they were stunned when suddenly enemy forces rushed at them in a counterattack. The officers ordered an immediate retreat. Soldiers rushed to climb back down the steep cliff, but less than 1/3 of the men made it back down. The rest lay wounded, scattered across enemy soil, abandoned and left for dead. One lone soldier disobeyed orders and charged back into the firefight to rescue as many of his men as he could. His iron determination and unflagging courage resulted in at least 75 lives saved that day. Several days later, during an unsuccessful night raid, Desmond was severely wounded. He was hiding in a hole with 2 riflemen when a Japanese grenade landed at his feet. The explosion sent him flying. The shrapnel tore into his leg and up to his hip. He treated his own wounds as best as he could. However, while attempting to reach safety, he was hit by a sniper's bullet that shattered his arm. His brave actions as a combat medic were done. But before he was rescued, he insisted that his litter bearers take another man first before rescuing him. Wounded, in pain, and still losing blood, he put others ahead of his own safety. He would choose to die so that another could live. After all, that's what he read in his Bible. Such was the character demonstrated by Jesus Christ. For these activities, Desmond received a Bronze Star for Valor, a Purple Heart, the Asia Pacific Campaign Medal, the Good Conduct Medal, the American Defense Campaign Medal, and finally the Presidential Unit Citation. Before being discharged from the army in 1946, Desmond developed tuberculosis and spent almost 6 years in hospitals. He got this disease because he had spent several cold, wet, and sleepless nights. As the illness progressed, his left lung had to be surgically removed along with 5 ribs, and for the rest of his life, he survived on a single lung until it too failed, and this happened at the age of 87 on March 23rd, 2006. Desmond died after being hospitalized with difficulty breathing. He is now buried in the National Cemetery at the US state of Tennessee.